What were some of the brutal and terrifying punishments used in the ancient and medieval world? In ancient and medieval times, the ways criminals were punished or executed were beyond imagination. The methods were so cruel, horrifying, and gruesome that people today would find them shocking and disturbing. It's hard to believe how anyone could become so heartless, so savage, or so numb to others' pain that they could treat fellow humans with such cruelty. This is something that could be studied deeply. Most of these brutal punishments were carried out in public to scare others away from committing crimes. Here are some of the most notable examples. Number 1. Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden was one of the most barbaric torture devices from the medieval period. It looked like a human-shaped iron cabinet lined with sharp spikes on the inside. A prisoner would be placed inside, and the door would be slowly shut. As pressure increased, the person would be pierced by the spikes and die in unbearable pain. The infamous Nuremberg Maiden was one such deadly device, built in Nuremberg. Number 2. Catherine Wheel. This method was used in Austria, Britain, France, Russia, Germany, Rome, Scotland, Sweden, and some parts of the Indian subcontinent. The victim was tightly tied to a large wooden wheel. Then, with iron rods, their limbs were beaten until their bones were shattered. Arms and legs were crushed and torn apart. This method is also known as the breaking wheel. Number 3. Crucifixion. The prisoner had to carry a heavy wooden cross weighing between 35 and 60 kilograms to the place of execution. There, their hands and feet were nailed to the cross, and they were left hanging. The entire body weight pulled down on the nails, causing unbearable pain. Victims died slowly from blood loss, sun exposure, exhaustion, hunger, thirst, and breathing difficulties. The Assyrians and Babylonians invented this method, and later the Persians, Phoenicians, and Romans used it as well. Number 4. Brazen Bull. This method was first invented in Sicily, which is why it's also called the Sicilian bull. The ancient Greeks designed a large hollow brass bull with a door on its back to place a person inside. Once the prisoner was locked in, a fire was lit underneath. The victim would be roasted alive. What made it even horrific was that the bull's head had a built-in system that turned the victim's screams into sounds like a roaring bull. Nobles and spectators would feast while enjoying this disturbing spectacle. Number 5. Roman candle. One of the most brutal Roman emperors known for using this method was Nero. During his lavish feasts, it was accustomed to burn living people as human candles. The accused were nailed tightly to a wooden frame. Their entire body was soaked in flammable material. Finally, they were hung upside down, and fire was lit at their feet, causing them to burn like a candle. Historical records confirm Nero's cruelty, which is why this method is also called Nero's torch. Number 6. The rack, or stretching device. This tool was mainly used in parts of Asia and Europe during interrogations to extract information. The accused would lie on a wooden frame with their hands and feet tied to rollers on each end. Using levers, these rollers were slowly turned, stretching the person's body. Eventually, the spine, muscles, tendons, and joints would tear apart, leading to a slow and painful death. This method was commonly used in ancient Egypt, Persia, Mesopotamia, the Middle East, and Europe. Number 7. Impalement. Impalement was another horrific and agonizing method, often used for punishing treason and serious crimes. A sharp iron stake was inserted into the victim's body from the rear, and the stake was planted vertically in the ground. The person's body slowly sunk down the stake under its own weight. Sometimes the tip of the stake was deliberately dulled to prolong the suffering, piercing organs like the lungs, heart, and liver slowly. Death could take several days. This method was commonly used in ancient Egypt, Persia, Mesopotamia, the Middle East, and Europe. Number 8. Burning or boiling alive. Women accused of witchcraft were often burned alive, although men were sometimes executed the same way. The burning of Joan of Arc in France is still remembered as a shocking and tragic event. In parts of Asia and Europe, people were also boiled alive in water, oil, or tar. Number 9. Elephant execution. In ancient India and parts of Southeast Asia where elephants were common, trained elephants were used to kill people. The elephant would slowly press down on the victim's head, crushing it. In some cases, the elephant would stomp or pierce the person to death. Number 10. Flaying alive or skinning. The victim was hands and feet tied tightly. Then, with a sharp blade, the skin was slowly peeled off the living person. To make the skin easier to remove, parts of the body were sometimes softened with hot water. Bits of flesh often came off with the skin, and salt was sometimes sprinkled on the exposed areas to increase the pain. Due to bleeding and fluid loss, the victim would usually die within hours or days. This method was common among the Assyrians, Aztecs, Chinese, and medieval Europeans. The earliest records of flaying come from the Neo-Assyrian Empire. Number 11. Blood Eagle. One of the most gruesome pirate executions was the Blood Eagle. It sounds unbelievable, but modern medical experts confirm it's anatomically possible. Pirates used this on their most hated enemies. The victim's back was sliced open, and the ribs were separated from the spine one by one. Then the lungs were pulled out through the back. The ribs were spread out artistically to resemble wings, making it look like the person had grown a pair of wings, hence the name Blood Eagle. According to legend, pirates killed King Aella of Northumbria this way in 867 AD. Number 12. Sawing in half. In the 15th century, this method was used in parts of Asia and Europe. For crimes often linked to religion, like homosexuality, victims were sawed in half. The person was tied upside down between two posts, and two executioners would slowly saw them in two. This was often done in public to serve as a warning.